I know that I've been making a lot of videos on the subject of black or white thinking, which is a cognitive distortion, but I want to explore something that has to do with black or white thinking, because for the longest time in my life, I really struggled with feelings of, inadequacy, like, not feeling good enough, right? But it's fascinating because, like, when I look at it, it's like, all right, well, I guess that's also a matter of black or white thinking, right? You're either good enough or you're not good enough, right? And so, like, when I really look at black or white thinking and, this or that, which can be applied to so many different things, the world is either a good place or a bad place. People are either good or they're bad, this or that, right? Everyone and everything is actually neither. And the reality of the matter is that it's far more complex than that, right? And so, like, you know, even not getting lost inside of trying to attain sufficiency, right? Good enough. What even is that, right? Okay, you can call it a standard if you want to, and that's fine. I'm not here to, right or wrong anything or to say that, any of this stuff is good or bad. But, like, you know, looking at people and being like, people are good or bad. No, they're not. They're neither. And that doesn't sufficiently describe anybody or anything because it's not an accurate perception, right? That's just the way that it is. It's really not an accurate perception. And so, like, I used to get very caught up inside of trying to be good enough, right? And the more I really sit with black or white thinking and actually apply that to this structure of, oh, I'm good enough or I'm not good enough. It's like, oh, I'm black or I'm white. I'm not both. And but like really, I'm going to break down the fabric of mental constructs and labels, right? Because that's really what this is about, seeing everything excuse me, exactly for what it is, nothing more and nothing less. Seeing a human for exactly what a human is, a human, nothing more, not more than human, nothing less, not less than human, just a human. The world is no more or less than what it is. The world is not more than the world. The world is not less than the world. It is just the world, right? So specifically, on an individual level, looking at sufficiency, right? I mean, I can imagine that all of these ideas and labels and beliefs were started from a place of, just like judgment and feelings of security or insecurity in any given individual. I don't know the history of this. I could definitely learn about it. But what I'm saying is that I believe, based on what I've learned and what I've observed and what I understand, is that good enough is an illusion, right? Like, it's not that you're good enough and it's not that you're not good enough. You're just a person. You're a person that is living, that does things. And whatever judgment you bring to yourself about yourself, it's just an idea. It's just a thought. It's just an emotion. Does that make it true? No. But that's the fascinating thing about black or white thinking, is that so many people become absolutely at their fucking core certain about something when it's just an illusion, right? And that's the other thing too. Life is far more complex than the labels that we create for everything, right? And black or white thinking, I like to call it black or white thinking. I know that I've seen it online as black and white thinking. The reason why I refer to it as black or white thinking is because it is this or that, right? So it is black or white thinking. It's not both and. I mean, you can call it whatever you want to, but, like, I'm really just looking at this and I'm really trying to step outside of the matrix. We can all say hi to Neo. Really though, I'm trying to step outside of the matrix, the structure of this, to see it for what it is, right? Because when you see things for what they are rather than what you previously thought they were, things change, right? Like, if you've been spending your entire life trying to chase being good enough while realizing that its opposite, which is what you might fear is not good enough, you're just chasing a construct. You're chasing a mode of thinking. You're chasing a method of seeing things, right? You're chasing either this or that when they're just, for starters, looking at anything in life, whether it's a person, an object, whatever it is, right, in life, as either good or bad, it is not accurate because it doesn't do anything to describe them. A person is far more complex than that, right? Your mind can get you to believe that that's the end all be all and that person is just bad and this, that, and the other, or that person is just good. It's not accurate. People are far more complex than that, right? And if you don't get to take the time, if you don't take the time to get to know a person, you're probably going to live in this belief that you are right and that everything else is wrong and this, that, and the other and this or that, right? It's just not accurate. And so, like, I'm not here to bash the idea of good enough. I'm not. But what I am here to do is actually take the label off, right? I'm here to take the label off, and I'm here to look at everything for what it is as it is, period, right? It's not that people are good enough or that they're not good enough. They're just people. Like, really, let's boil it all down. Let's pull back the layers and look at everything for what the fuck it actually, like, in fine detail is, right? Because good enough really doesn't describe anything. Sure, you can set a standard. Go ahead. Take the label off, right? Good enough doesn't, and I understand that this might kind of like scare some people because it's like, well, then what is my frame of reference? You take a step back and you look at everything and you understand that these are all just labels, right? And if you're trying to chase this idea that you're either this or you're that, it's a very limited way of seeing, not only limited, but it's just not accurate, right? Like, it's very fascinating to me. I think that getting caught up inside of this idea of trying to fight for being good enough is a fucking illusion. I really do. And I think that a lot of people, I mean, I've been here myself, but I think that a lot of people get trapped inside of this illusion and really try to push for being good enough. Oh, am I good enough yet? Oh, am I good enough yet? Am I good enough? Hey, am I good enough yet? Hey, am I good enough yet? Oh, I'm not good enough. Damn, what do I need to do to be good enough? Am I good enough yet? Am I good enough yet? Am I good enough yet? Like, what are you really chasing? You're chasing a construct that's really an illusion based in black or white thinking. You're either this or you're that. But are you really? Or are you actually, in logistical, fine, intricate detail, a human with multiple forms of complexity that's trying to fit your expansive ass fucking self into this tiny little box, right? I kind of see good enough as a tiny little box. Let me fit myself into this tiny little thing right here. Like, no. We're far more expansive than that. We're far more complex than that. Black or white thinking is both simple and inaccurate. It's simple because it gives you a product that is not accurate. Right? And you can sit in your mind all fucking day believing that you're good enough. Go ahead. It's fine. And there's nothing right or wrong about that or good or bad. It's just what it is. And it'll leave you continuing the same cycle of wondering or believing that you're good enough. But that doesn't describe you. That doesn't describe you as a person, right? When the mind goes fucking silent, which I can imagine is very challenging for a lot of people to achieve, right? And they don't have all this noise running. You're not good enough. You're good enough. You're not good enough. You're good enough. You're not good enough. Like, it's a fucking shit show. It really is. Like, what actually is good enough? What actually is not good enough, other than an element or, a model of the structure that is the cognitive distortion that is black or white thinking? What are you really chasing? What is it actually? Or is it actually just an illusion that's keeping you trapped in this belief that, I don't know, is not I don't want to call it not real, but what I want to say is that it's not accurate. I don't believe that it's accurate. I think that it's just another thing that we try to fill maybe a void that's inside of ourselves that is just like painful to sit with, right? But then if you could just take the time to just look at yourself, right? Look at yourself. Look at yourself. That's what it's all about. Like look at yourself. Black or white thinking doesn't tell you anything about yourself. It's just it's a model that shows you this or that, and it's highly inaccurate, right? So when you realize that good enough is an illusion, it's because you see it for what it is. You see that you're chasing a construct, just like everything else. Everything is a construct. Everything. Every single thing is a construct.